Hello, welcome back to ShePropTalk. I'm Beverly from Down in Creative Studios, and today I am so excited we get to talk to Alexandria The Geek. Oh my gosh.
Hi.
Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. This is super last minute, I know. I talked to you yesterday, so thanks for making time for me. Welcome.
Anything for you. I'm so excited. I feel like I should interview you because you're like more amazing. So,
Oh, whatever. This is all about you. This is our time together talking all about you. So that's what we're going to do. I am so excited. I'm like literally bouncing up and down in my seat. Yeah, when I was trying to think like, I have all day tomorrow. I just published one or just posted one. And I'm like, I really want to keep this going. It's like, who can I talk to tomorrow that might be available? And then, yeah, it's like, I really want to talk to you. So, and I feel like I feel like we've known each other for a long time. We just haven't actually talked until today.
exactly. I know I creep on your Facebook and stuff, but now
Oh,
face to face or face computer to
yeah,
computer,
right. Well, I have to say I'm the OG creeper in this relationship because when you were making I think you started making your Hippolyta before me. Yes,
Yes,
right?
you just did it for, I think, what was it Emerald City, which is
Emerald
before
City, right?
WonderCon. So your deadline was before mine. But I also creeped on you because I bought your sword cast. So, I mean,
Eee.
who's the original? I'm not entirely sure.
Um, Let me just tell you how much I freaked out when you contacted me about that, because I was like, I cannot believe Alexandria the Geek wants the sword. Oh my God, I'm so excited. You can ask my husband. I was like flipping out all over the place. I um I made sure it was extra perfect. Like I filled in little holes. I felt bad about those little holes that I had to fill in. I was like, oh, I hope she doesn't think that my stuff is garbage. I hope she loves
Yeah.
it so much. So
I
yeah, that
remember
was.
opening it and I was like, it's better than I expected.
Oh my
It's the
God.
first prop I've ever bought. So, or
Really?
bought,
What?
purchased.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
I'm not an English major, sorry.
That's all right. You know what? You've got your brain is full of all sorts of big words. So you get everyone gets one.
Okay, that's my one.
Well, yeah. So let's talk about Hippolyta because it's like right next to you. I really hope that one day I can see this in person because it's just so beautiful. And
Um,
yeah.
Ironically enough, I was just telling my boyfriend that I want to remake 90% of it and I'm gonna probably end up trashing it because I'm like, I don't like the shape
Oh.
up here, but like, I mean, I used some of your patterns actually in the
Oh,
last
cool.
minute because I was like, oh my gosh, WonderCon finals,
Yeah.
it was just easier at that point to, support a fellow creative, mind and,
Oh,
save a
thank
lot of
you.
time.
Yeah. Well, good.
So,
I'm glad that those worked out for you. Yeah. I When I was making it, I was just like this is just so complicated. And we made our Hippolytas a little bit differently.
mhm.
You did the two, like the upper and the torso part separately, which I kind of wish I had done sometimes.
Mhm.
But yeah, and when you watch the movie, there are two different versions of that costume.
Of course there is.
Yeah, of course.
I wasn't sure because I wanted the different, I guess, levels when I did mine, so I tend to gravitate towards, ones that are more segmented.
Hmm.
Although when I remake this, I would like to do it the way you did, where it was one nice flat, like cohesive piece, because this actually separates into the chest or the abdominal, the chest, and the neck piece.
Oh,
So,
it's actually three different parts.
mhm.
Oh, that's really cool. So you must be able to like sit down and all that glorious kind of stuff. Ah.
That was my whole point because I remember making Wonder Woman and I'm like, it was all one piece and I'm just like sitting awkwardly to the side and I'm like, nope, not again.
Oh, well, oh, my big fat kitty she might make an appearance. She's creeping over here.
Oh, oh, I love
She's like
kitties.
yeah.
Just
Yeah.
tell me when I'll grab my cat. Well,
Well, I'll grab her in a minute. I don't want to like lose my train of thought on talking to you about this about your Hippolyta. But yeah, so you have made two versions. Wait, do you have just this one version and then you made the helmet from
no, I
Justice
made
League?
this one and
Okay.
then I made the Justice League one. I have the helmet
Okay.
here because it's like my pride and joy. So,
Oh, I love that so much.
but
Holy
the other
cow.
one is unfortunately in a Tupperware
Okay.
because it doesn't translate well on a just generic, I guess, dress form.
Oh.
So,
Oh, kitty, come here. You know what? You get to see my kitty, Press. Hi, Press.
hey, kitty.
Say
Oh,
hi.
look. Is it a she?
She, yeah.
Oh, she's adorable.
Yes. She had
Oh,
short hair when we brought her home, and she has, her fur is like, she's like this much fur on all the way around her. Okay, you're gonna go down now.
oh.
Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Oh,
Lulu was the same way. I thought I was ending up with a short hair, but apparently she lost all of it, like in the stress. And when she came home, she just chia petted on
oh,
me.
oh,
So much
poor
hair.
baby. Yeah, so okay, let's talk about Lilu for a second because I
She's a
love
star.
I love Lilu. So for the listeners, uh, Alexa adopted a three-legged kitty,
Hmm.
and I just love you and adore you for that. That's just the coolest. But she's had a couple of. I mean, with a cat like that, you've got some challenges.
Hmm.
Certainly, one of them is how cute she is. Oh my god, she's so cute. Um, and she's over there somewhere, isn't she?
She's behind Hippolyta. Let me
Mm.
just like creepy move her for a second.
Oh, sleepy baby.
Lulu. Oh, hi. Come here.
Oh, I feel like I'm
Oh.
seeing like a celebrity for the first time. Like I'm trying to stay cool. I'm trying to keep it cool. Oh, she's so cute.
She's back to bed.
Yeah, that's
She
okay.
sleeps almost 23 hours a day
Oh, that's
because
nice.
her life is very hard.
I have two cats that kind of feel the same. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Yes, I
Hmm.
am. Well, if you want to follow Lilu on Instagram, there's an Instagram page. What is a three-legged floof? Is that?
Three-legged floof, and you spell
Yeah.
out the word three.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I follow three-legged floof.
I try to make it
uh,
interesting.
I've been thinking about just turning this podcast into a Cats of Cosplay podcast because that's like all I really want to talk about are cats.
Hey, let
Cats
me
and
know.
dogs eventually. Yeah.
I'll make some like cosplays for her, you know.
Oh my
Her name is Lilu, so I'll put her in the little harness and
god.
just hair poking out.
Oh my god. You should just do that anyway. I'm please for the rest of us.
I think the world needs it.
Yeah, I think so. Well, oh my gosh. Okay, so bringing it back in about Hippolyta. So we were talking about the two different versions, and then you showed us that amazing helmet that you made, the
Yeah.
Spartan helmet, which oh my God. I know because you are a huge Hippolyta fan. When we saw that trailer and we saw that first glimpse of her with that amazing armor, and, you know, there she is in the trailer. Thank
Hmm.
you.
Yes.
Because we weren't sure if we were going to see them again. It was like, we need to have our Amazons and our Amazon Queen in another movie.
Hmm.
And then that helmet was just like, oh my God. So tell me about that moment. Did you decide right then and there that you needed to make that?
So yeah, actually, we were at San Diego Comic-Con, and we weren't in Hall H where they released the trailer, but I remember we were driving back up, and it had leaked on YouTube, and it's the part where she, gets off the horse, and it's like the sun's behind her, and her helmet's just in all the glory, and I'm like, I don't even care what the rest of this looks like. I just want to make that helmet. I want to be awesome. She looks amazing. And then the cape is so much like glorious. I mean, I love this version, don't get me wrong, but there's some aspects of the Justice League outfit, like the helmet and the cape. And, they kind of mushed the Wonder Woman theme into
Yeah.
the chest piece and whatnot. And I just remember telling Americo, I was like punching him in the passenger seat. I'm like, we need to pull over. I need to watch this and get screenshots and, do
So,
all the like research
oh my gosh. Did you guys
from
actually,
the
did you pull over?
yes,
Oh my
on the
gosh.
five. I was just
Oh,
like,
that's awesome.
I need to enjoy this in its full glory.
Wow. You know what? I think you might have messaged me at that point too, or like not long after that, because yeah, remember I think a couple people messaged me, but I think you were one of the first ones. You're like, oh my God, that trailer. That's so cool. So talk to me about the that helmet, because I've always wanted to make that helmet.
Mhm.
So, how did you pattern that, and what did you use for the bristles? And
Yeah, so this is
tell me
probably
about it.
the cheapest prop I've ever made. Because it's all just craft foam and paintbrushes. So,
Oh,
yeah, the I just made a basic, you can kind of see on the inside, just a basic helmet shape. I have a male's like head dress like form
uh
thing from Amazon. It's just a plastic because I have a larger head. I'm an Amazon. Um,
huh.
so I just, duct taped it and I made the shell.
Okay.
And then if you pay attention to like all the reference photos, it's not round. It has this like, I
Yeah.
guess, geometrical shape to it. So what I had done is you can kind of see right here, this is the base. And then I just
Oh,
made
okay.
two shells to go off of the sides. And I sandwiched those onto the base of the helmet. And then essentially added the crown. I made the crown itself and then just glued that beast on there,
Oh, wow.
making strategic, beveling and gluing on the underside. The brushes. So this is about $7 worth of paintbrushes at like an Ace Hardware and
No
some
way.
like, just a red Sharpie, which you can only see in like two frames of the movie that she has like this red all the way down.
Oh my gosh.
But my
So you
tip is
just dyed it with the red Sharpie?
yeah, I just sat down for like 5 minutes and I was just kind of like separating them and, going straight down the middle. And
Oh
it
my gosh.
just, I guess cheap paintbrushes take Sharpie really well. But
That's just brilliant. So did you take the bristles out of the paintbrushes?
so originally I was going to, and that was just a mess. Like I do not suggest that to anybody. Um,
Okay.
if you, I had my dad's help. He helps me with like little things here and there. We actually took the housings off of the paintbrushes, and then most of the cheaper ones are set in like a resin or like a base. So
Okay.
what we did was we heated the bottom with a heat gun, and then we took two pairs of pliers and we like curved them so that
Oh,
way, because like
wow.
these ones are straight, obviously, but like to
Yeah,
get this curve with no like gaps, I guess,
sure.
we just essentially heat gun and pliers, and then it'll like recure. And I just
Oh,
glued those suckers in there.
that's brilliant. I think I might use that technique when I finally
Do-
make a Spartan helmet for myself. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I love those geometric angles in that design. And you post a lot of work in progress pictures. Did you do the same for the helmet? Like if someone was interested in making this helmet, or did you just like, I'm just gonna make this real quick. I don't have time to take pictures.
Well, I have, I think I posted like two or three, like in progress. And then I always try to make a collage of like, this is how it started. And then as I add more pieces and then the different layers of paint. So for almost everything that I do, especially this helmet, because I was like, I'm not sure how this is going to work, but if it works, I want to have proof.
Yeah.
So for this one, I do believe I have work in progress pictures and collages because on top of it, I scored the entire thing with like an X-Acto blade because it has like, I don't know if you can see.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh my gosh,
so, and they
that's
go
great.
different directions. It was a nightmare, but it was totally worth it. So
Wow. That is so
that's,
beautiful. And
thank
I can
you.
see the original Hippolyta crown design in there, which is kind of nice. Did you recycle your old pattern to help you out with that, or were you just like, this is like muscle memory now. I know I know what this is supposed to look like.
I actually drafted this one because I needed it to be a little bit larger since it wasn't going to be sitting directly onto my head because I had
Oh,
actually
right.
I had made my own for this one, the tiara or the crown originally, and then I wanted to make it thinner, so I had used your pattern for
Ah.
that. And so, but for this one, I needed it probably like two or three times larger, and I wasn't sure. So I drafted it on top of the base pattern or like the
Hmm.
base helmet for this. But I mean, I guess in retrospect, I could have just scaled up the pattern that you
Eh,
have, and then
I bet the way you did it was easier because then you could see where things were supposed to sit, and with that angulation underneath.
mhm,
That's pretty cool. Ah, such a beautiful helmet.
thank
Um,
you.
so I know that you worked pretty heavily with Warbler. Do you
Hmm.
still, or have you decided that foam is easier after using that helmet or making the helmet?
Well, well, for the helmet, it made me really love foam because
Mm-hmm.
it's more forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't waste all this money and material to then have to start over.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I guess now I've mostly gone to foam. Like my Mercy is all foam. I was originally going to
Oh.
make her wings out of Warbler, but I'm like, this is actually getting pretty heavy. And on my sixth attempt at those wings, I'm just like, foam. We're just going to make them hollow, and they're just foam. So I mean, Warbler still has its strengths in the sense that for intricate detailing or like well, as I say that, I'm like thinking of your Lady Sif sword that's made out of foam. So I guess that's a lie. Um,
Well,
but
my
it's
sword is
sturdy.
actually resin, and it was from that sword was
Oh,
made by Corgi by Eric Jones.
okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Well, that's a piece of art in itself.
But I did
But
make the shield out of foam, and all those details were foam. Yeah.
see, yeah, you
Yeah.
and your awesome Cricut tutorial, I'm super excited to use.
Oh, jeez. Oh my
Um,
God. Yes. 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 Yes.
Yay! But yeah, I mean, as I've moved more towards foam building, but Warbler still has its strengths in being able to be super thin but durable.
Yeah.
Like my Mercy staff is like 80% foam, but some of it I'm like, nope, this has to be Warbler. It needs to have like a structure, like a skeleton. It works
Yeah.
really well for that. It also doesn't hurt, I guess. I've made full Warbler armors, and I'm just like at the con, like I can't move because I'm gonna cut something.
Right. Meaning skin.
And yes,
Yeah.
that super soft stuff that keeps us all together.
Yes. Yes. The big giant organ that covers us all.
hmm
So is Hippolyta foam or is Hippolyta warbler or a
So
mix?
this Hippolyta right here is like 98% foam.
Okay.
Her legs actually I wanted to remake in foam, but those are fully Warbler, and they
Mm-hmm.
dug into my legs like no tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. My original tiara crown was foam, but when I remade it, it did 2 layers of just Warbler. So
Oh,
other than
okay.
the legs and the tiara, the rest, all of this beast is foam, and then the like pleathery
Yeah.
skirt thingy.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh, that's interesting that you used 2 layers of warbler for the tiara because that was what I wound up doing for my tiara as well. Because wrapping, I wanted that rigidity with a warbler, but I didn't want the bulk of wrapping
hmm
it with EVA foam. And then I also didn't want the inside of the like if it was just a single wrap around EVA foam, I didn't want that lip to be to show up because you can see, you can kind of see inside that tiara.
hmm
And I'm like 5'6" on a good day, so a lot of people can see over my head.
Oh, so,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry.
I would love to
We
be
would
tall.
be a pair. I want a Hippolyta with you just because, well, you're
Yes.
amazing, but the
Uh,
height differences would be.
I would love to stand on a box next to you and get some like family portraits, some
Yeah.
double queens.
Oh, I would love that.
Oh my gosh. Well, hopefully one day you can come up to Emerald City, or maybe I'll make it down to WonderCon because I know that's like the convention that you it's like closest to you, or that's you talk
Oh
about that a
no.
lot. So no, that's no. I'm wrong.
No. So, WonderCon's in Anaheim, and it's about when I live in Reading, it's about a 10-hour drive.
Whoa. Okay.
I'm actually closer to Portland than I am to like
What?
Anaheim. So I'm actually planning on doing some Oregon and Washington conventions just to kind of do something new and like see people like
Yeah.
you
Yes.
and
Oh,
it not be
cool.
600 degrees outside when I wear something like this.
Oh yeah. Well, Emerald City last year was really cold. They when Repop took over the convention or that event, they changed the time, and maybe that was their decision or not. I don't know, but that it's in like March now, and it used to be just a little bit later, which
hmm
means it is freezing. Actually, when I wear my Hella up there, we had plans to do all this stuff outside, and I couldn't deal. Like my helmet was
Oh,
clacking because I was shivering uncontrollably. It was just, and if you look closely at some of the pictures, my nose is red because it's so dang cold outside.
oh,
So yeah, go ahead and wear like the biggest, like bulkiest, warmest costume if you come up because it'll keep you warm. You'll be good.
okay. Good. I remember a couple years ago, I went up to Wizard World Portland as Kratos, and I'm like wearing no, like, he doesn't wear anything really. And I'm just like, my friend's in this nice ball gown and she's warm. And I'm like, I'm from California, clearly.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. It's like 40 something degrees right now in Portland.
Oh,
Yeah. Does that sound too
like,
cold to you for you or like heaven?
that sounds really nice. I think like right now it's in the 60s here.
Well, you guys have humidity down there, right? Is it humid down there?
Not really, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gosh,
we're
I'm
usually
like
a dry heat,
100%
like,
wrong. Okay.
nope.
All right. All right. Um, well, let's see. I could talk to you like for 5 hours. I'm like looking at the. Okay, so um, let's. Oh, actually, can we talk about the Hippolyta cape? Because I know that you've done two different versions, and I really struggled with my Hippolyta cape, the original version, because I was such a sewing noob, and
Uh-huh.
I used pretty fabrics instead of like realistic. Like this is actually going to flow well fabrics, and so I wound up making it like three times. Um, but how did you use a pattern to start with, or did you just kind of like eyeball it and go from there?
So I saw that you were like super eyeballing it, and I'm like, this woman has confidence, and I
Oh,
have
jeez.
no confidence.
Oh my God.
So I actually used, I believe it was a simplicity pattern for like a wizard's robe
Okay.
because she has, it's a cape, but it has armholes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm just gonna make it without the arms. So what I
Oh,
did
that's
was I
perfect.
added like 2 extra feet to the pattern because I'm monstrously tall, and then I just didn't sew the sleeves on it. And I originally got a nice like upholstery fabric with all of the details, and I'm like, this is going to be too heavy. So I actually went cheap, and it's just a tan, like a sandy colored flannel.
Really?
So it's super lightweight and it
Oh,
flows,
wow.
and it's only like $3 a yard.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
and it's
That's
what
the
I
best.
actually used for my second one too, because I
Oh,
loved
okay.
it so much. It wasn't super heavy and it flowed when you walked. You felt extremely majestic, which I guess is the point.
Oh yeah. If I could just wear a cape like that for every costume that I make, it would be awesome. Because there is something about wearing a flowy cape when you walk, when that yeah, if it flows really well and you don't really need a breeze for it to like pick up and like flow
Hmm.
majestically behind you, that is really something else.
It's a cosplay goal.
Yeah.
Everyone should wear a cape at one point in their life if they're a
Yes.
cosplayer. I mean, well, in real life anyways,
Oh,
because
for
it's
sure.
such a great feeling. Now I know why superheroes do it in the
Oh yeah.
movies.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like that's where the
um,
confidence comes from.
right. I also love the whole queen, like the tiara crown thing too. Yeah. I do love that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes you feel very regal. It's not acceptable in everyday life to just rock a cape and a crown.
Really should be though. We need to like change. We need to make a couple changes to make that happen.
Yeah, we need to make that socially acceptable.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that beautiful pink Mercy behind you because you made wings. Have you made wings before?
No.
Really? Because you
Oh,
could
it
have
was
fooled
such.
me. Oh my God, those wings. And you had said just earlier, like a few minutes ago, that you made them like six times. Are you serious?
Yes,
Are you
this is
really?
my sixth attempt. Yes.
Oh, oh wow.
I almost gave up, but I was like, I had bought all the fabric and everything for it. I was committed, and it was to the point where it was like insulting me that I couldn't actually get it done because you see it in your head and you're like, this is super easy.
Hmm.
But to get the like dimensions of these wings, I had to make them hollow. So you had to, think about which side did you want to bevel and make your seams super clear and then mount them into the actual harness. And it was a nightmare. I originally tried the first attempt was with Thybra because I had some, but I didn't know how to use it very well, and I got
Hmm.
fingerprints everywhere, and it was
Hmm.
just, for me, it just wasn't the project for Thybra.
Yeah.
So I got some Warbler, did that for the second and third attempt. No,
Goodness.
they got really heavy. I did one
Yeah.
wing, and I'm like, nope. And then for the fourth and fifth attempt, they were just nightmares of trying to get the shape right, so they could be hollow. And
Hmm.
then the sixth time, I was like, oh, this is finally happening. It took me, I think, 4 months to get the wings to where I wanted.
Oh, wow. Well, I
So
can respect that absolutely because like you get an idea of what you want to do in your head, and it cannot be like you have experience with being uncomfortable at cons, so you know if it's really heavy and it's going to be on your back, you're just going to want to take it off after 30 minutes. So what's the point?
exactly. So, and I knew they were going to be big because I scaled them. So I'm 6 foot without heels, and in this costume I have 3-inch heels. So I scaled it to be 6'3". So the wingspan is about 5 feet in itself.
Oh my
But I
gosh.
made it so that they can flare out as they are now, or go straight back when I walk.
Oh
And
wow.
surprisingly, people still run into them.
Oh yeah.
They look at
Well,
me like I assault them, and I'm like, I'm
like
huge.
yeah, how do you not see this big giant winged pink
I think
costume coming down?
everyone's like texting in the lobby and they walk
Oh
around, and
yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Which is just like just don't do that. I mean,
I mean, like, go to the corner and text and like meet with your friend.
right.
Con
Yeah.
etiquette is a whole nother,
Oh
story.
yeah. Oh yeah. No, no, it's fine. I also have had my share of
Oh,
wearing impossibly giant, and like I can walk as carefully. You can go as carefully as you can, and you can even tell people, coming through, make way. But it's still you're still gonna have people running into you.
yep.
So did you make those wings with foam? Was that the last version that you made?
Yes, so it's all
Okay.
foam. There's nothing with Warbla or thermoplastic other
Oh wow.
than a PVC pipe that just kind of pokes to,
Okay.
give it something to mount it to.
Yeah.
The harness itself probably could be a little bit more sophisticated, but I'm not an engineer. So it's just a PVC U, and then it just straps around me.
Oh wow.
Because the
Okay.
original design, she doesn't have anything on her shoulders.
Of course.
It's extremely unrealistic. I know some Mercy cosplayers have successfully done it, but I needed that extra, security. So I have it going over the shoulder, um,
It
and it,
must
it
make
worked
it
fine.
easier to take off as well when you can have that detached or detachable.
Exactly.
Yeah. So are those, and I'm really curious about the spiky dews that are projecting down. Are those hollow pieces of
These,
foam that or did you carve those? Like,
no, they're
how, like,
they're
did you do?
hollow.
Okay.
So they're each one is four pieces of foam. And I made each side is identical. So if I flip these wings around, it's going to look the exact same. So they don't really have a left, right, front, back to them. But I just made sure that I had like the bevels on the inside so that they would make I should have scientific terms for these, but I really
No,
don't today.
it's okay.
But to get the nice angles, and then
Yeah.
making sure that the angles on the other side were complementary to the extra piece. And so they're completely hollow. You
Oh
can like
wow.
squeeze them, they go back to their shape.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
because I use TNT cosplay supplies, foam,
They're
and
awesome.
it's amazing. So, but I do have if anyone wants to look, I have a step by step on the insides and the outsides of those on my Instagram. So I try to post because it's kind of hard to explain sometimes without an
Oh, for
actual
sure.
visual.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I may have been looking at those before we chatted today.
Oh,
Um, because I remember when you were making this, I was just like blown away, like your those curves, because it's not just like straight curves. They're not only are those spiky dews. I think that's a technical term for them, is spiky
I think
dews.
so too. Spiky dudes.
They're complex, and there's nothing like straight about them. So yeah, it's pretty. That's amazing. It's just gorgeous. And can we just talk about how so did you do a Pink Mercy for breast cancer awareness?
I did. I
Okay.
tried to get it done. So I'm from Reading, and we have this like the world's largest working sundial as a bridge.
Oh,
And what they do every year is they light it up pink. So the glass panels on the bridge go pink. They project pink lights onto the sundial with the ribbon and everything. And originally I was going to go and help support breast cancer awareness, and unfortunately school got in the way. At the end of the day, that's what comes first.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really love Mercy in general, but when this skin came out, I was like, because I feel like almost everyone these days have had someone who's been affected by breast cancer,
Yeah.
or they know someone, and it just kind of hit close to home. So I was like,
Yeah. No, I think that is it's such a beautiful, beautiful design, and also we don't see that very often. And like, how cool is it that they included that? Such a cool tribute to such an important research and awareness, and yeah, it's just absolutely gorgeous. So the chest plate, is that all foam as well?
yes, it's actually based off of, I bought Kamui Cosplay, Svetlana. She has this whole package of women's breastplate patterns. And what I did was I pretty much hacked the basic one apart to make the shape that I wanted, and then did like the undercurve for the, I guess, rib cage. But it's all foam. I got nice rounded shape, which for the first time in my life. But yeah, all foam, because I wanted to be able to move and sit down, and with a full Warbler chest piece, you got to stay completely up and down, and there's a
Right.
really pointy part right here that
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't want to like impale me.
It would not feel good.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then like not only that, but it pushes when you do sit down when it's rigid, it'll push everything up. So depending on what you've got going on underneath.
Going on.
Yeah. So I was looking at your work in progress pictures too, the leggings. So Mercy has these impossibly high thighs, like thigh pieces, thigh leggings that don't seem to attach anywhere.
Anywhere.
So I like how you approach that.
Yeah, so I have thunder thighs, for lack of better words, so I can't keep anything up, in a cylindrical shape. So what I did was, because they go from pink to like a metallic pink to like a little black trim, I just decided to make them into full-on leggings. So I just raised the black all the way into a pair of, comfortable spandex leggings. Unfortunately, my skirt was a little too long, so you didn't get to see all the detail work, but it just made life so much easier, because I feel like every cosplayer has had, some form of thigh high, and they're just like constantly pulling them up. And
Oh yeah.
that's something I did not want to have to worry about, bending over with a chest piece and wings and having them look frumpy in half of the photos. I was like, they're going to stay nice and clean. And so I was like, leggings, why not? I think as cosplayers, we should be able to have some creative freedom, because we're making it, we're wearing it, unless we're being, sponsored by, a company. Do it how you want.
Yeah, no, exactly. And now you have a cool pair of leggings that maybe you can wear when you're
I
not.
want to,
Yeah.
I want to make a cool, like casual, like pink Mercy with like maybe like a cute breast cancer awareness tank top and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Coming
Perfect.
soon.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. So can we talk about the collar? How did you, because collars are so hard to do sometimes, especially when you don't really know, like, you can't really draw like a circle with like a circle skirt, because that doesn't really, like, our necks aren't really shaped that way.
Unfortunately for cosplayers, we have a lovely, like, it drapes. I mean, it's more flattering the way we're built, but it was the last thing that I made, because I was like, do I duct tape myself? But then I'm thinking to myself, I live alone with my cat. Like, who's gonna like duct tape my neck properly and
and cut you out of it once you're in it.
Oh yeah.
I've
knock
gotten
on my
myself
neighbor's
into
door.
that. Oh yeah, well, I've almost gotten myself into that predicament before, where I've made a duct tape dummy of my lower legs, and then like I can put the tape on, but getting those scissors down my legs, that was interesting.
Especially
I'm glad
if you want the
nobody's
seam in the
watching.
back.
Oh
Ugh.
yeah, yeah.
So for a previous cosplay, Starfire, she has something similar, but just much longer. And for that, I had bought like a collar pattern from Evil Ted. And so what I had done was I had scaled it up a little bit, because I had realized, as I'm a taller person, my neck is a little bit bigger. And then I pieced it together in 2mm EVA foam.
Oh, wow.
I suggest that for almost everything if you're drafting, because paper isn't going to lay right. So I made the whole collar, and then I just cut it. So I made it much shorter.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
Yeah. So I was able to get the nice point. I could, make it a little lower here or a little longer here. And then you can just cut through your seams again and transfer that 2mm foam. I think I used 4 Yes, I used 4mm for that just because I wanted it to have structure because it's supposed to be super elegant. And then the back just Velcros, so it stays tight, but it doesn't choke me.
Yeah. Well, that's
So
nice. That's a big plus.
yeah.
So the pink part that wraps around the collar and then that also attaches to the chest, does that come off, or is that part of the collar? Is that part of the chest?
It's actually part of the collar,
Okay.
so it's completely yeah, you can kind of see it. Up
Hmm.
until these 2 points, it's all glued down.
Oh, okay.
And then there's just two because it's supposed to be the pink breast cancer ribbon going around her neck.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so beautiful. That's so
there's like
cool.
16 breast cancer ribbons like secretly hidden throughout the
Oh, wow.
cosplay. So I was
Oh
like,
my
ooh,
gosh.
another
Oh.
one.
That's so
Um,
great.
yeah, and it just Velcros underneath the little boob cups. So that way
Ah.
it, and I actually, so what I did was I uh, sewed on, because you can sew to 2mm craft foam as long as you use like a zigzag stitch so it doesn't just tear it.
Hmm.
I sewed like maybe 2 inches of elastic, and then I sewed Velcro to the elastic. So when I move my neck, it doesn't pull,
Oh.
so
That's
it
a
bends a little.
Oh, that's great. So you added a little bit of flex in there.
Hmm.
Oh, that's so smart. Okay, I'm filing that away in my brain for techniques to use for later
Because,
projects. That's
you want to
brilliant.
be able to pose and do things and not have to like stick, one way. So I was thinking
Right.
to myself, especially because she does her arm up a lot, or if she chooses to have the staff in a different way, I'm like, I need to be able to emote a little bit with
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
body.
Oh, that's perfect. So, yeah, that staff was absolutely so cool. I mean, you've got like lights in it, and I can you use PVC pipe as the base, and
Hmm.
then you started with that, and then you built on top of that. Can you? I've never made a staff before, and I've always wanted to. So, can you walk us through it just a little bit?
Yes. Unfortunately, it's not in here right now, and it's a little too big to show anyways.
Oh, that's
But
okay.
as
I'm gonna pop some pictures from your
okay,
work in progress up there. So
there we go.
because I again was stalking your work in progress pictures before we talked. Um,
See, that's what they're there for.
yes.
I mean, it's my first staff as well. The base is just PVC pipe. It
Hmm.
separates into the top part, which has the little spires.
Hmm.
The staff itself is two pieces, and then the bottom curly Q, for lack of better words, that also comes off too. So the
And did you do
lights,
that for transportation purposes? Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
yes.
Okay.
No, that's okay. I don't fly to conventions. I don't like airplanes. So I drive to all of my conventions, and as I have a small car and I usually have to bring my cat with me because she's
Yeah.
special needs, blah blah blah.
Oh. Oh.
So I'm like, how can I get this all to fit in essentially one decent sized Tupperware? So and also for storage purposes too, because as cosplayers, we can't just have
Oh
all of
yeah.
this out all the time as much
Oh
as
yeah.
we want to. Um, so yeah, it was crucial for me to be able to work on little pieces and not have one giant staff at once. So that way I could just work on the top part and just paint the top part. And the poles, I hate painting poles. It's like, why? Um, because you can't hold them, and then you're like, maybe I'm missing something. But yeah, the top part was the most intricate. It's made of mostly foam. I used, because she has this like gem in the middle that lights up, and I'm
Hmm.
like, I want it to light up, like.
Yeah.
But I have no, like, even though I was a chemistry major and had to take engineering courses and all of that, I did not know how to do it. And I have all the stuff, but I'm like, fairy lights. Fairy lights are your best friend.
Ooh.
I got purple
Yes.
ones from Amazon with the little battery pack.
Oh
So
wow.
I made the gem out of pearly, the warbler that's pearly.
Oh
I
okay.
don't, I don't know the name. It has a name, I guess.
I think it's Pearly Warbler.
Oh, okay.
Or Warbler's Pearly Art, maybe something like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
let's roll with it.
Pearly.
Um, because it transfuses light really well. And that was before the translucent foam has come out that I
Yeah,
know Kamui has used. So I
that
made a
pastas out.
faceted
Yeah,
that
pastas
thing.
out. Yeah, yeah. I
I
haven't
want to
tried it.
try that.
I want to try it too. Yeah,
It looks super neat.
I know. More
But
stuff.
yeah, But yeah, I just made the gem with the facets, cutting them out, being really careful that you don't put, fingerprints because I wanted it to be really flat. And then put a little bit of that like polyfill in with the lights. And then that had to have a housing because there's literally nothing between, the gem and the base. So I bought a thing of fish tank pearls, I guess, and it came in a clear container.
Yeah.
And I just mounted the gem in the lid, and then the top screws on.
Oh.
So the entire top part of my staff just screws on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
That's
I'm like,
brilliant.
it's cheap and it's easy and they're sturdy.
Yeah.
So if you ever look at the pictures close enough, it's housed in a clear container. Just go to your local Michael's, you get it for $2 and then you get some beads, I guess, too, with it.
That is, I think I used to make I tried a snow globe project with something like that, where you just like turn it upside down and like the top screws off, but it becomes the bottom, the base.
Mm-hmm.
That's so brilliant. That's very cool. And then you have a really sturdy base to mount that on top of the staff. That is perfect. Oh,
and it allows me to turn the light on and off because I wasn't clever enough to try to figure out where to have the wiring and whatnot. So the on-off switch is in the gem with it, and
yeah,
easy
peasy. Well, you still had to engineer the whole thing, and now that we can look at your work in progress pictures and be like, oh yeah, I got it. That's easy.
Yes.
You had to figure it out.
Yes, but totally cool. Worth it. I love when you get those aha, and you're like, wow, this really worked.
Yeah. Well, the fairy lights, I didn't realize that they came in different colors, and I just haven't really used fairy lights very often. But yeah, I'll have to check that out and check it out on Amazon.
Mm-hmm. And they come in like a pack of like 4 for like $6. So I have like 3 other purple ones that I'm going to use for something, I guess. I don't know. But they have every color. I just recommend buying the ones that come with the like watch batteries, not the big like AAAs or AA's, because then it's harder to hide the battery packs.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
so,
unless that's your thing.
I mean, I guess,
unless you're designing it into your prop like that, like a big gun or anything like that. Well, cool. Wow, we just like talked the heck out of my 2 favorite costumes that you've made. But what are you working on now? I mean, I know you're working on resting because you've just been. I don't know how you do it. By the way, sidebar. Your work is amazing, but I also know that you work your butt off in your personal life as well. And I just like, do you ever sleep? Lilu sleeps for you.
Lilu sleeps for me. Yeah, no, I get unfortunately about 4 to 6 hours of sleep a night. It just depends on school, and I've started CrossFitting to become healthier, I guess, mentally and physically, and so I get up at 4 a.m. and I go to bed at like midnight. And but cosplay is because I'm in school and I'm in pharmacy, so it's very scientific, very black and white. Cosplay gives me that outlet to create and use that creative part of my brain. So sometimes crafting is more therapeutic than actually sleeping.
Yeah.
I mean, scientists are like rolling over in their graves right now. What? Sleep?
No, I think we all need to, we need to have that outlet. And I know that, when we're in between projects, it's really hard. That's a hard space for us to be in because we need to have that outlet. That's where we unload a lot of our stress. And we're sometimes, I mean, I don't know if you do or not, but like I'll be able to sort through things that I need to think about while I'm working on something. So it's just a method of coping, really. A lot of the time, it is therapy for me, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, honestly. It gives you a sense of accomplishment. And like, I've been in school, this is my 8th year of college. So I feel like I just keep going and there's no end in sight. There is, luckily. But it gives you those, every few months you complete a project and you're like, super excited. Yeah. So it gives you those little bit of like boosts to feel successful in areas of your life that like are a little bit dull at the moment. Not like, pharmacy is dull, but but it's it just
I don't envy all of that memorization, the miles and miles of medical terminology and just the whole pharma world.
If you pretend they're all Pokemon.
My hat is tips to you. I tip my hat off to you, my dear.
It's a game in my mind. That's how I memorize everything. It's like a challenge, but you truncate things like you would with anything in your life, and especially with cosplay, you're like, oh, I need to know how to do this or do this, 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 and then you make a schedule. Some people make schedules. I make a schedule and then I end up not sticking to the schedule.
Good intentions.
Yeah. So, but I mean, if I had more time in the day, I probably could stick to a schedule. But at this point, it's literally like, oh, it's midnight on a Sunday, but I have a little free time. Let's do it.
Yeah. No, I hear that.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. I think if we could all just, I would like to add just maybe 2 hours to a day. And I don't know, I'd probably just keep working during those 2 hours. I don't know that I would add that to my sleep because I'd be like, ooh, now I've got like 2 extra hours to work on stuff. Yeah, there's just never enough hours in the day. But yeah, I know that you are in school and you work your butt off. So yeah, I'm always just amazed that you do this incredible work.
thank you.
And
I've slowed down. I mean, I used to pop like 12 costumes out a year. Now it's like 4.
Oh my God, 12. That's crazy. I think the most I've ever done has been like 3 or 4.
But yours are so detailed though. Like, you make big, fabulous builds. So you make 4 super incredible ones where when I was doing 12, a lot of them were just super kind of cash, I guess.
Yeah. But that's so fun though. I mean, and going back to that whole like feeling accomplished. So sometimes when you have those big, long, huge builds, you're like, I'm in the middle of this ocean of work and there's no land in sight. And like I get kind of dismayed sometimes when I have these big giant projects that I just can't see the end or I can't post about it. And so I can't like, there's no like, I can't like teach anyone about like what I'm doing, or I have an aha moment. I can't like share it with anybody. So yeah, I would really like to do some more, some short projects, I guess. But you know what? I think that this podcast is sort of like a short project for me. It's sort of like my short project. Yeah, I think I'm realizing that right now. Oh, that's so funny. Well, we have been talking like forever. I was going to ask you about project management. We kind of talked about that already. Like you make lists.
Make lists,
and then
make a schedule, try to stick to the schedule, and then when it doesn't happen, just burn it and just move on.
Yes. Have you ever found yourself wanting like missing a deadline like for a costume?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got too excited there.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, Thranduil, for both versions, I had set to debut him one at a Kamikaze and LA Comic Con and WonderCon. And I remember staying up till like 4 a.m. and I'm just sitting here. I'm like, I'm so tired. This doesn't look how I want. And it's okay to not debut something when you originally had hoped for. Yeah. I won't lie. I'll post my con lineup like a month before, and usually one of those don't make it. Yeah. Because I have super high ambitions and I get so excited because you see people who do this for a living and they pump out all these new costumes and you want to pump out all these new costumes, but half of us have, a job or school, and it's just not realistic, especially like monetary wise. Yeah. But yeah, the first few times that happens, you feel like you've let yourself down, but there's other cons. You can do photo shoots with friends. And for me, it's the making of it that's the fun part. So if I, con crunch and then it doesn't turn out how I like it, and then you're like, oh. So to me, it just perspective of like, you find the therapy from making it. And yeah, I love going to cons and hanging out with friends, but at the end of the day, it's the like challenging your mind and your crafting skills to create something new. Yeah. And when you do that and you rush yourself and you create something that you're not really happy with, then it kind of does the opposite of what it's supposed to do for you.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So
yeah, I think that giving ourselves permission to to have this project as a project for ourselves and not as like, yeah, if you're entering a contest, that's like a little bit different. But don't kill yourself, and be easy on yourself. Like, be nice to yourself. It's self-care is so important. And Con Crunch, yes, we all want to be there. We all want to have like the new costume, and we all want it to be so amazing. And I am certainly guilty of burning the candle on both ends for a long time. And that's not healthy. It's not healthy. I really need to be better at that. And like you're saying, I think most of us, like 99% of us, don't do this full time. So it's a hobby. And I know a lot of us would like it to turn into more. But but yeah, just, like you were saying, it's that self-care, and that, you can plan all you want, but sometimes your plans they'll follow through, or they won't happen. And don't beat yourself up over it. Cause yeah, there are going to be other opportunities to wear it, do photo shoot, hang out with friends, wear it at a different con. You'll feel better in it. Yeah. I can go on and on. I'm just talking just word salad right now.
Word salad. I have not heard that before.
That's actually a medical, it's not like a medical term, but if someone's having like a stroke, or they had a stroke and they're like talking, and it's just like they're speaking, it's just all jumbled. They're not really forming words.
Okay.
That's word salad. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Also,
you
smelling
learn
toast. New. If you smell toast, there's no toast. That's a sign of a stroke. Yeah, I think you and I.
We did not learn that.
No. Yeah, that's all stuff that I got to learn in my medical, my like patient care classes. So, yeah, this is now the medical terminology podcast.
Works for me. I think everyone can learn a little bit from it, Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I mean, we could talk forever, but we have been talking for about an hour. So, what are you working on now? What do you have on your plate? Well, I asked that question like 10 minutes ago, so now we're coming back to it. Sorry.
Okay, see, that's how it works. No, it's okay. Well, I have like 17 days of free time before I become a full-fledged adult and working in rotations. So I have like 6 projects I'm trying to do.
Oh my God, just 6.
Just 6. But because WonderCon's around the corner, I don't know if you've seen Castlevania, the anime. Yes. So I'm working on Carmilla, her like gorgeous reddish gown with the train and the shoulder armor, because I love to not have any mobility in my life.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Carmilla. I'm finally doing a Disney princess, so I'm doing Rapunzel. Ooh. My own take. I always like to add a flair to everything. And by popular demand, Lexa from the 100. So
I haven't watched that.
Okay.
I have to. Okay.
But it's a lot of like heavy like fur jacket. So I have to get it done now, or I can't wear it. Because it's just going to be too hot.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I'll have to come up to Portland. Oh, darn.
Oh, no. Definitely don't come up here and visit us.
No, not at all. I'm also doing Bombshell Hawk Girl.
Ooh.
Hawk Girl. So, because I want to do another helmet, and her jetpack looks super awesome. I mean, as much as I'd love to do wings again, I kind of need a change in pace.
Yeah.
So just kind of like a handful of things, some sewing projects, some armor projects, because I like to have a nice balance. I don't just like to do foam work. I mean, I love foam work because it's very like engineering. You're constructing something. And then sewing, where you are constructing something, it's more soft. It's more elegant, I guess.
Definitely a different beast, those two things.
But when they come together, they make magic.
Yes, perfect. Well, listeners, you can find Alexa at Alexandria The Geek. And you're on Instagram and Facebook. Are you mostly Instagram?
I'm mostly Instagram. I try to dump a lot of like work in progress photos and albums on Facebook because they tend to be higher quality. So, but I'm mostly active on Instagram. But if you want to look at resources, I would say Facebook. But I try, like, if someone messages me, I will respond on both of those.
Oh, perfect. Awesome. So. Awesome. And then one more plug for Lilu's Instagram?
It is three-legged floof, but you spell out three, and it's just going to be a lot of adorable pictures of a really chubby orange and white three-legged fur ball. So
I love
you won't
her so
regret
much.
it.
I love her so much. Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for talking to me on such short notice.
Yep.
I've been dying to talk to you for so long, and it finally happened. So, bucket list for me. Thank
Yay.
you very much. And
Thank
thanks
you
for
for
tuning
having
in,
me.
you guys. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. And we'll have to talk again. Maybe when your school life settles down and you've got more time. I'm glad I caught you on kind of break time because I know that you're busy lady.
I still would have made time. I still would have made time for you because,
Yay.
yes, that's a heart. Yes.
Aw, heart for you too.
There we go. Yay.
Cool. Well, thank you, listeners, for tuning in. And please check us out on iTunes and everywhere you get your podcasts, and rate, review, subscribe. And definitely please go check out Alexandria The Geek on everywhere, Facebook and Instagram, and go show her some love. Go check out her Pink Mercy and her Hippolyta and her Rocket. We didn't get to talk about Rocket, but yeah.
He's there.
Yeah, she's awesome. So, all right. Well,
Thank
tune in
you.
next time. Thank you so much again. Bye.
Bye.